Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't chase them. I know that sounds counterintuitive. You've probably spent time trying to impress a woman, showing her attention, texting, calling, trying to be available, and yet she doesn't seem interested. Meanwhile, that guy who barely responds, who keeps his life separate and his attention limited, suddenly becomes irresistible. Why does this happen? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. It's not about playing games or being manipulative. It's about understanding human nature, female psychology, and the dynamics of attraction. Women don't just want men who are easy to get. They want men who have their own life, their own value, and a sense of independence. When a man is too eager, too available, or overly invested, it signals something women subconsciously pick up on. He needs her more than she needs him. And that, honestly, lowers attraction instantly. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore women or act cold. What I'm saying is that there's a balance that most men miss. Women are naturally attracted to confidence, to mystery, and to a man who isn't desperate for validation. It's about being desirable without acting like you're trying too hard. Once you understand this, it changes how you approach dating, conversations, and interactions entirely. If you've ever felt frustrated by the hot girl who ignores you, while the guy who seems disinterested wins her attention effortlessly, this video is for you. I'm going to break down exactly why this happens, what it means for you, and how you can use this knowledge to naturally increase your attraction without pretending to be someone you're not. So, welcome to the channel. Make yourself comfortable. Today, we're going to get honest, dig into the real psychology behind attraction, and I'm going to help you see why stepping back might actually move you forward in ways you didn't expect. By the end of this video, you'll understand the subtle but powerful reasons why women are drawn to men who appear indifferent and how you can apply this to your own dating life. 1. Desire comes from distance. Let's start with something most men completely misunderstand. Attraction grows when there's a sense of distance. I'm not talking about ignoring a woman for no reason or being cold. I'm talking about creating natural space where she can feel your presence without consuming your life. Think about it this way. When a woman feels that a man is always available, always responding immediately, always trying to make her happy, it actually lowers her interest. Why? Because she senses that the man's life revolves around her. It subconsciously signals that he needs her more than she needs him. And in female psychology, that's a massive turnoff. Women are wired to pursue value, independence, and confidence. They aren't looking for a safety net. They want a partner who can hold his own, stand on his own, and has other priorities besides her. Now imagine a man who doesn't chase. He's busy, focused on his work, hobbies, social life, and personal growth. He engages when he wants to, he communicates when it's convenient for him, and he isn't constantly seeking approval. That same woman who ignored the needy guy starts noticing him. She wonders why he's not trying so hard. She's curious, and curiosity breeds desire. Here's the key. Distance doesn't create disinterest. It enhances attraction. By not being overly present, you give her the opportunity to invest emotionally. Women naturally lean toward men who have options and don't need her to validate their worth. Your absence, when managed intelligently, highlights your value without you ever having to say a word. A lot of men think they have to work hard to win a woman, but the reality is the opposite. Desire is often sparked by the tension between availability and pursuit. When she feels she doesn't have full access to you, her mind begins to fill in the gaps. She starts imagining your life, your interests, and your personality. She starts chasing your attention without you even trying. This isn't about manipulation or games. It's about understanding human attraction and adjusting your behavior to match it. When you create healthy distance, you naturally make yourself more desirable. You show that your life has value independently of her, which makes her want to be a part of it instead of controlling it. 2. Neediness
kills attraction. Let's be honest, neediness is one of the fastest ways to destroy any attraction a woman might have for you. And yet, so many men fall into this trap without even realizing it. Neediness isn't just about asking for attention or validation, it's a mindset. It's the constant feeling that you must prove your worth to a woman, that you have to convince her to like you, or that you're nothing without her. And women notice it immediately. When a man acts needy, it signals that he's dependent on her for his emotional state. It tells her, I can't be happy unless you're around, unless you respond, unless you approve of me. That's not attractive. It's draining. Attraction is not built on reliance. It's built on independence. Women are wired to be drawn to men who have a sense of self, a life, and confidence, not men who cling to their attention. A needy man might text too often, over-apologize, or constantly seek reassurance. He might try to impress her with compliments, gifts, or favors to make her like him. But here's the thing, the more effort you put into convincing her, the less she's going to value you. Desire thrives on challenge and intrigue, not on constant validation. On the flip side, when a man isn't needy, he demonstrates self-respect. He shows that he has a life, he has options, and he doesn't rely on a woman to feel whole. This kind of behavior makes women naturally curious and even a little competitive. She starts thinking, why isn't he chasing me? What's he about? And that curiosity grows into desire. Needing her is essentially giving her power over your emotions, which flips the natural attraction dynamic. Women want to be drawn to someone who is self-contained, not someone who collapses emotionally every time she's not around. Independence, emotional stability, and confidence are magnetic. They make you interesting without needing to try hard. So here's the takeaway. Stop trying to earn her approval constantly. Stop over-investing in her attention. Instead, focus on being a man with his own life, hobbies, friends, and ambitions. Women notice men who are emotionally strong and self-sufficient. When you stop being needy, attraction begins to flow naturally, and the dynamic shifts in your favor without you ever having to force it. 3. Confidence speaks louder than words. Confidence isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. And when I say confidence, I'm not talking about showing off or bragging about what you have. I mean the quiet, unshakable sense that you know your value and you're comfortable in your own skin. Women are drawn to men who carry themselves with self-assuredness because it signals stability, security, and competence. A confident man doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't beg for attention, he doesn't over-explain, and he doesn't seek constant approval. His presence alone communicates worth, and women instinctively notice that. You don't have to tell her you're confident. Your actions, your energy, and your demeanor say it for you. Confidence also shows through how you handle rejection or disinterest. Instead of panicking or overreacting when she doesn't respond immediately or cancels plans, a confident man stays composed. He understands that his life isn't dependent on her reaction. That's incredibly appealing. Women sense when a man is grounded and in control of his emotions, and it naturally makes them feel drawn to him. Another key point is body language. Confidence isn't just mental. It's physical. How you stand, the way you make eye contact, your gestures, even the tone of your voice, all of these communicate confidence without a single word. A man who is relaxed, present, and secure in himself will naturally attract attention and interest. Confidence also allows you to be selective. You don't chase everyone who shows interest because you know your worth. Women notice when a man has standards and won't settle for less than he deserves. That selectiveness alone makes you more desirable. It creates a sense of scarcity, which is psychologically compelling. Lastly, confidence creates a sense of leadership and direction. Women are drawn to men who seem capable of leading a relationship, who know what they want, and who aren't afraid to go after it. This isn't about controlling someone. It's about showing that you have clarity, focus, and purpose. That stability and certainty are incredibly attractive. 4. Mystery makes you magnetic. One of the most overlooked secrets of attraction is mystery. Women are naturally drawn to men who aren't an open book from the start, men who have layers, depth, and a life outside of her. When a man reveals everything about himself too quickly, it removes the intrigue and makes him predictable. And predictability, unfortunately, is boring. Mystery isn't about being secretive for the sake of it. It's about maintaining a sense of individuality and not laying your entire life on the table immediately. A man who is fully available, sharing every thought and detail about his day, unintentionally removes the chase and the curiosity that fuels attraction. Women are wired to notice the unknown, the unseen, and the untouchable. It makes them curious, engaged, and drawn in. Think about it this way. When you have hobbies, passions, and a world outside of her, she notices it. You talk about your interests with enthusiasm but without over-explaining. You have friends, plans, and goals that don't revolve around her. This naturally creates a sense of mystery. She wonders what your life is like when she's not around. She wonders how you think, what makes you tick, and why you don't bend over backward for her attention. Mystery also allows you to pace the emotional connection. If you reveal everything too fast, your past, your fears, your insecurities, it gives her everything up front, leaving little for her to uncover or feel intrigued by. When you maintain just enough distance and keep parts of your life reserved, she begins to invest emotionally, mentally, and even subconsciously. That investment is what creates desire. 5. Why women chase what they can't have. Here's something most men fail to grasp. Women are naturally wired to chase value, not availability. When a man makes himself too easy to access, it removes the thrill. Desire comes from challenge, from uncertainty, and from knowing that something valuable isn't handed over instantly. Women aren't consciously thinking about this all the time, but subconsciously, they are drawn to men who aren't fully in their grasp. Imagine this. There's a man who is interesting, confident, and has his own life. He doesn't bend over backward to get attention. He doesn't constantly text or seek validation. He responds when it works for him, he sets boundaries, and he carries himself with ease. That woman who might have ignored him initially starts noticing. She feels a spark of curiosity. Why doesn't he chase me? What else is going on in his life? Her mind begins to engage in ways it never did with the man who was always available. This doesn't mean you play games or act cold. It means you understand the natural dynamics of attraction. Women are drawn to what feels scarce or challenging because scarcity signals value. When a man isn't dependent on her attention, she senses that he has options, that he has worth independent of her approval. That alone makes him more desirable. Another layer is emotional engagement. Women often chase because they feel a man isn't fully available emotionally, not because they want to hurt him or play games, but because the challenge stimulates their attention and interest. When you are fully invested immediately, when you reveal everything too fast, or when you make yourself too easy, you short-circuit that natural process. The chase disappears, and so does part of the attraction. 6. Availability isn't always attractive. Many men think that being available is the fastest way to a woman's heart. They believe that if they respond instantly, drop everything for her, or prioritize her over their own life, she will like them more. The truth? That level of availability often does the opposite. Women are naturally drawn to men who have their own lives, commitments, and boundaries. Constant availability can signal desperation, dependence, or a lack of purpose, and none of those are attractive qualities. Being selectively available shows value. It communicates that you have a life, priorities, and standards. When you can't be reached immediately or aren't always ready to say yes, she begins to notice your world exists independently of her. That independence automatically raises your desirability because it signals confidence and self-respect. A man who is always available inadvertently gives a woman control over him. She unconsciously senses that she can dictate his time and attention. That dynamic shifts the balance of power in her favor, and women instinctively lose interest when they feel they are the sole reason for a man's happiness. When you maintain your availability on your terms, you naturally create tension and curiosity, which fuels attraction. Another factor is the psychological effect of scarcity. When a man is not constantly at her disposal, she begins to value the moments she does get with him more. Those interactions feel richer, more meaningful, and more memorable because they aren't taken for granted. Scarcity isn't about playing hard to get, It's about maintaining your presence as something valuable rather than endless and predictable. It's also about self-prioritization. Your time and energy are finite resources. By choosing to spend them on your goals, friendships, and personal growth, you reinforce the idea that you're a man of substance. Women are drawn to substance. They want a partner who is engaging, driven, and whole, not a man who simply exists to serve their attention. 7. Wake up, stop being too easy. Here's the hard truth most men need to hear. Being too easy kills attraction faster than almost anything else. Women are naturally drawn to challenge, independence, and a man who holds his value. When a man gives everything too quickly, he unintentionally communicates that he's desperate for approval or attention, and that's an automatic turnoff. Being too easy can take many forms. It might be saying yes to every invitation, over-texting, or agreeing to everything she wants without question. It can also mean sharing too much of yourself emotionally too soon, or revealing vulnerabilities before a bond has formed. When you do this, you remove the natural tension that creates desire. Women need space to feel curiosity and to wonder about you. If everything is handed over on a silver platter, there's nothing to chase. A situation that illustrates this perfectly is a man who immediately changes his plans, cancels other commitments, or drops what he's doing whenever a woman wants to meet. On the surface, he's being accommodating and attentive, but what she senses underneath is that he doesn't have boundaries and his life revolves around her. That lack of independence makes him less attractive. She might still enjoy his company, but she won't feel that spark that drives real attraction. The key is to set boundaries and maintain your standards. You don't have to be unavailable for the sake of it, but you do need to prioritize your life, goals, and time. When you operate from a place of self-respect and value, she notices. She will engage more, respect your time, and, most importantly, feel drawn to your presence instead of taking it for granted. Another important point: being too easy often comes from fear of loss or insecurity. Men worry that if they don't respond quickly or give her what she wants, they'll lose her. The truth is, when you overextend yourself to keep her, you're actually decreasing your perceived value. Confidence, independence, and emotional stability are far more attractive than desperate approval seeking. So here's the wake-up call. Stop bending over backward to impress, chase, or win approval. Invest in your life first. Pursue your goals, maintain your boundaries, and show her that your time and attention are valuable. Women are naturally drawn to men who stand firm, carry themselves with confidence, and don't crumble under pressure. That's the kind of man who commands attraction effortlessly. Reflection is key here. Ask yourself if your behaviors are building attraction or eroding it. Stop being too available. Stop being too easy. Start valuing yourself, and watch how naturally women start valuing you in return. Here's a truth that might sting a little. Chasing women, being overly available, or trying too hard rarely works. Women aren't attracted to desperation. They're attracted to value, confidence, and independence. The moment you make yourself too easy to have, you lose the spark of attraction. It's simple, yet so many men keep missing it. The good news is that once you understand this dynamic, you can completely shift the way women see you. By maintaining healthy distance, setting boundaries, and focusing on your own life first, you naturally become more magnetic. Confidence, mystery, and emotional stability aren't tricks. They're signals of high value that women instinctively respond to. I want you to reflect on your own behavior. Are you giving too much too soon? Are you bending over backward to impress, seeking constant validation, or chasing attention that should be mutual? Recognizing this is the first step toward change. Here's something to think about. The more a woman senses that she can't fully have you, the more her mind and emotions start leaning toward you. That doesn't mean playing games. It means being a man who understands his worth, prioritizes his life, and naturally draws women in without trying too hard. I'd love to hear your experiences with this. Have you noticed women pulling away when you overinvested, or maybe responding differently when you stepped back? Share your stories in the comments. I read everyone and I'll respond. Learning from real situations is the fastest way to get this right and start experiencing the kind of attraction you actually want. Remember, stop chasing, start valuing yourself, and watch how naturally desire starts flowing your way.